So you've probably heard the term top 1% man thrown around all over the internet, right? Well, today we're going to deconstruct that whole idea because according to our source material, the real signs of that status, they have nothing to do with flashy labels. Instead, it's all about these subtle, often unspoken codes of conduct. Let's break down what that actually means. Okay, so let's dive right in with a pretty provocative rule. The source argues that if you have to go around calling yourself a high-value male, you probably aren't one. I mean, that's a direct shot at a term that is absolutely everywhere online. And here's the logic behind it. The argument is that this label has kind of been co-opted by people who are more focused on screaming about their value instead of actually being valuable. You know, the whole idea is that true character isn't about some title you give yourself. It's about the little things you do. So if that popular term is off the table, what's the alternative? Well, the source proposes this idea of the new Renaissance man. See, this isn't about a flashing label, it's about embodying things like integrity and character. So let's actually dig into what this means with 3 core principles. All right, this first principle is fascinating. It's all about perception versus reality, and it's called the art of apparent effortlessness. Now, this distinction is absolutely key. The source isn't saying things should be easy. Nope. It's saying they should look easy. All the hard work, all the planning, all the practice, that happens behind the scenes. The final result that everyone else sees, it should just look smooth, natural, and totally seamless. To make this really concrete, the source uses the perfect example, a date. Think about it. Each one of these steps, studying the menu before you even get there, taking the lead with ordering, handling the bill discreetly, is designed to just remove any friction or awkwardness. It makes the whole experience feel really well managed and smooth. And this quote it perfectly summarizes this first principle. It's all about showing who you are through your actions, not announcing it with your words. Your competence, your consideration, it's all demonstrated, not just talked about. Okay, principle number 2. This one tackles a really modern dilemma. It's all about walking this fine line to become what the source calls the modern gentleman. So the argument here is that a lot of men fall into one of 2 traps. On one side, you've got the guy who becomes aggressive and resentful. And on the complete other side, you've got the guy who lacks any boundaries and just gets taken advantage of. The ideal, it suggests, is finding that perfect balance right in the middle. And to find that middle ground, the source actually advocates for embracing these more traditional gentlemanly acts. You know, things like making sure she gets home safe or always handling the bill. These are pretty clear acts of courtesy. But, and this is where the nuance really kicks in. So here is the crucial question that the source poses. When do these exact same actions make you a gentleman, and when do they make you a simp? The answer, it argues, has nothing to do with the action itself. It has everything to do with the context. And here it is, the deciding factor, respect. These gentlemanly acts are conditional. If you're being treated with respect, she's on time, she's engaged, then these actions confirm you're a gentleman. But if you keep offering them even when you're getting disrespected, well, the source claims you fall into that other category. It all comes down to reciprocated respect. All right, the third and final principle is a powerful warning. It's not really about how to achieve success, but about the single biggest threat you'll face once you actually have it. And that is the danger of comfort. Wow, okay, that is an incredibly direct statement. The core idea here is that comfort breeds complacency. And from this perspective, a man losing his drive, his ambition, that's one of the most unattractive qualities he can possibly have. The source then introduces this idea of the comfort test. The suggestion is that a partner might, even subconsciously, test your discipline. You know, that temptation to just sleep in or skip the gym today or to let your morning routine slide. That's framed as a test of your resolve and your commitment to your bigger goals. And according to the source, this is the ultimate consequence of failing that test. The very same comfort you embrace is what eventually leads to a loss of respect, and then the end of the relationship. It's a pretty stark cautionary tale about the importance of always maintaining your edge. So what's the thread connecting all 3 of these principles? Let's bring it all together and figure out what the true test of success is, according to our source. This quote really gets to the heart of the whole thing. The source is basically saying that with enough focus, getting some level of success is almost a given. The real challenge, the true test of your character, is what you do after that. And this is where it all clicks. Apparent effortlessness? That requires disciplined prep. Being a gentleman? That requires disciplined boundaries. And avoiding comfort? Well, that requires disciplined growth. The core message is this: getting successful is one thing, but staying successful requires continuous, nonstop, non-complacent effort. So what do you think? Is this a new code for modern masculinity, or is it just a repackaging of old ideas? Whether you see it as a useful framework or not, that emphasis on action over labels, on respect being a two-way street, and on discipline over comfort, it's a pretty powerful perspective to consider.